Have you ever experienced a traumatic event? Hopefully not, but for most, the answer is yes. Now, if you answered yes, you could be susceptible to PTSD, also known as post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, around 70% of adults experience at least one traumatic event in their lifetime. Now, 20% of that 70% will get PTSD from that event. This comes out to around 13 million people each year who get PTSD, or to give you a little bit of a smaller scale, that would be around 6 of 100 people get it at least once in their lifetime. Now, let's look at the causes. The main cause for PTSD is combat. Things like army, military, etc. Another example would be childhood abuse or also sexual violence. But for my example, I focused a lot more on the combat side because it's more of a prominent cause. A lot more people get it because of combat. My example is Mr. Chris Kyle. A bit of a famous example. He had his own movie, American Sniper, where it goes through kind of his world in his deployment. It shows what he had to go through, what he had to deal with, and then what he comes back to. Now that is kind of the whole trick. You experience, God knows what over there in Afghanistan, and then you come back and it's quote unquote normal. It just doesn't really feel right to the normal person, and that oftentimes causes PTSD. Now, going into the treatment side, we look at Charlie Health. They have physical buildings, physical people that can help you with therapy, treatment, just sort of getting it off your chest. Also, another great thing would be June, Joon. They use CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy, which is shown most effective with PTSD. They have online locations, so you can, if you don't want to go into a physical spot, brings too much stress, or driving is often a serious event. So if you don't want to drive to the physical event, you don't have to. You can set up an online event. Make sure you get the person tailored for you, because each PTSD situation is kind of its own. Not really a lot of people have the same, triggers that will bring the PTSD up. So they really make sure you get a specialist just for you. Thank you for your time, and have a good one.